Hopefully, it isn't the end of the Kline, Alex joked, turning to you. Please, Alyssa is a dunce. She will fall for any trick he's got, hook, Kline, and sinker. The class collectively groaned at the terrible puns the teachers were exchanging. Who's your money on, then? B asked, holding up a few coins. It's obvious, isn't it? Alex replied, arching one brow as he looked at B. Yes, I agree, it is a done deal. You nodded in agreement. Looking out to the pair in the middle, the class watched as they both gave the customary bow to signal they were ready. Then, to the entire class's shock, Alyssa's fast strikes were stopped at Kline's outstretched hand. What? A few in the class simultaneously exclaimed. How is this possible, sir? Maxwell asked. He's flighty like a rabbit, Yu pointed out, gesturing to a shaking Kline who was twitching at every feint and movement despite enduring the barrage of strikes with gusto. Those are the sorts that react far quicker. He likely is succeeding through sheer instinct rather than technique, Alex explained. After a few more minutes of sustained blows, each blocked by Kline's desperate shielding, Alex held up a hand and called it. Masterfully done, Kline. You are a natural, like the creators of the flash shield would call one of their own. Kline nodded and scampered to the class. Wow, Chief, I am impressed. You were untouchable out there, Gunter praised, slapping a hand onto Kline's shoulder. Thanks, guys, Kline said, looking sheepish. Okay, next, Alyssa shouted from the center, but no one rose to meet her. Who's next, guys? Alex asked, looking at his students. It should be Maxwell, Daisy stated, looking at the boy who was looking paler by the minute. I know she is going to kill me, so I am just making my peace, Maxwell muttered, as he held his hands together in prayer. Why would she kill you? B asked. I mean, yes, you are a bit of a pompous twat, but at this school, that's a dime a dozen. Because of who my family is. I heard she swore she would murder everyone associated with my brother, Maxwell answered, his voice audibly shaking. What did your family do to her? Gunter asked. Not to her, to him, Maxwell answered, looking up at the teacher in question. Sir, I was hoping to right the wrongs my older brother Sally's committed. It seems Alyssa will kill me before I achieve that. I'm sorry I couldn't do more. Maxwell bowed his head and set off to the center of the arena. What is he talking about, sir? Daisy asked. It is something that can wait. Let's watch, Alex said with a devilish grin as he watched the fight begin to unfold. This time, unlike with Kline, Maxwell was far more proactive in the fight. Rather than solely reacting, he was using high-grade gear to strike out at Alyssa. But it was clear to all observing who the superior combatant was, with only a single successful deployment of a flash shield. Maxwell's fight ended with a single punch to his solar plexus. Collapsing on the ground, Maxwell was clearly in pain and wheezing. From where they sat, they could see he was struggling to look up at Alyssa and say something before she turned her back to him and returned to her starting position. At this signal, Yu rose from her seat and made her way to pick up Maxwell and carry him back for treatment. Why did she spare me? Maxwell wheezed out as he was gently cradled in the armor's arms. She was just throwing a tantrum when she threatened everyone associated with your brother, Alex explained comfortingly. Listen, Maxwell, your actions matter more than your lineage. I eliminated the threat that was your brother. Your father even thanked me as he planned to disown Celis when he graduated. Maxwell's eyes widened in shock at this new revelation. Is that true, sir? It is. Your family, the current holders of the Seat of Pride, hold ability to the highest degree. Your brother failed to learn your family's lessons. That being, the only thing you should feel pride in is your nation. The nation that the Seat of Pride represents to the world at large. Maxwell looked like he was chewing over these words. Just remember, Maxwell, your family has elected outsiders to their ruling seat if their relatives couldn't measure up. Do you think they would have accepted a bigoted idiot as a foreign diplomat? Maxwell could only meekly shake his head. Exactly. Now rest up. I believe it is Gunter next. Gunter rose from his seat and slowly made his way to the center of the arena. From a distance, the pairing looked ridiculous. Gunter was a member of the Titan race, so he towered a good head and shoulders over Alyssa. Add that to him being built like a brick wall of muscle. When compared to the petite, slender elf, it seemed a done deal, though all knew it would not be as it appeared. With the signal to start given, The class watched on in wonder as the pair began showering blows upon each other. "He does know he is meant to be trying Flash Shield, right?" Yu muttered. "He should be. Maybe he is not getting it. It can take some practice," Alex suggested. "That's why we are doing live combat exercises." "But he should have it by now," Yu muttered, confused. Alyssa's blows didn't take long to dent Gunter's plate armor. Each blow made him stagger back until he stumbled and fell on his knees. Not letting the opportunity escape her, Alyssa delivered a final blow to his helm, ringing it like a bell. "That's enough. You, go drag him and fix him up," Alex said as Yu rose to drag an unconscious Gunter back to the stands. It was as he was now in front of the class. They could see the extent of the damage to his armor. There were clear holes where Alyssa had punctured with a jab of her sheathed blade. Removing his helmet, Daisy and Bee had to restrain a scream as Gunter's face was bloodied and bent out of shape. "Wow, she went easy on you," Yu muttered as she held her hands over Gunter and began healing him. "Easy?" Daisy repeated. "Oh yeah, you should see how bad Alex looks when she goes all 10 on him," Yu joked as she reset Gunter's nose. "You spar at level 10? Bee asked, surprised. "More she forces me to spar at 10. Why do you think I became so proficient at close combat? It was either get good or die. Me and you each developed anti-Alyssa techniques just to last against her ridiculousness." As they were focused on Gunter's face being fixed up, the class heard a groan from the floor near the stairs. "Tasha, you okay?" Daisy asked, rushing over to the elf. "What happened?" Tasha said, her eyes blinking out of sequence. "Alyssa hit you with her sheathed sword," Daisy answered. "Yeah, a fair few of your organs had ruptured. You nearly died," Yu added, to which the class looked extra horrified. Tasha herself was speechless while looking miserable. "Hey, I know it must be shocking to be hit by your idol. I can understand you must be Oh my gods!" Tasha's exclamation silenced all conversation. "I obviously came on too strong, didn't I?" Tasha asked, shooting out the words faster than many could take in. For my lowly self to touch her magnificence was obviously the height of arrogance. Tasha?" Daisy muttered, unsure of how to respond. "And for her to forgive me with a little love tap. Clearly, she is as benevolent as she is beautiful. Truly, I should praise her more." Daisy looked to Yu, hoping this was perhaps a concussion, only to hear Yu mutter under her breath while glancing at Alex. "Oh, gods, there's 2 of them now!" "Next, please!" Alyssa shouted from the middle of the arena. It seemed she had been calling for the next student for some time.